I'm James Friend, and I'm the cinematographer of All Quiet on the Western Front.
I'm Berger, and I'm the director of All Quiet on the Western Front. So first of all, I think we just have a lot of fun together and like spending time together. That's the main thing I think that you need. It's a good basis for a collaboration. But also I think we question everything a million times. We just look at it and first idea and then write it down and say, oh, that's great. And then we go back and say, was that really great? Or should we have another idea? So we test it and keep retesting it and until it's basically in the edit. And then I send him edits and he questions those edits. It doesn't stop with the shooting of the film.
The truth of the matter is, and I'm not just saying this because he sat right next to me and I'm talking to you guys, but...
And we're both coincidentally wearing a similar shirt.
but genuinely, I have never worked with a director that has not only embraced my interpretation so heavily, but also has given me the kind of freedom to question the script and truly analyse. I would say makes me the best cinematographer I am sort of capable of being, if that makes sense. It's a brilliant process.
I think it started with a book. The writer went through a war and sort of wrote down memories that he had and that of his comrades. And you feel it, you know, there's a wall between him and that makes it all the more powerful. And so we decided to try to find a language to translate that to film. Finding a camera position or an edit that put the audience into Paul Bäumer's, the main character's, shoes, and at the same time sort of just take a tiny step back to keep that slight observational feeling, as like a war reporter almost, just looking at it. You're allowed to feel on your own without the filmmakers telling you too much what you're supposed to feel.
The film was actually shot on 4 different cameras, to be perfectly honest. An ASC conference with Lawrence Sher about when he was talking about the Joker, and his lens list was just all sorts of things. And you watch the film and it's a masterpiece. No one ever questions about that was shot on this, that was shot on, and that really struck me. We kind of employed that a bit on this. And so we shot on 4 different cameras on 3 different sets of lenses. It all just merged into one beautiful thing. And we had a different camera for different scenes and different scenarios. The night work, which we had some extremely important scenes where we needed to work at a certain stop and a certain latitude and really kind of embrace the contrast of night. And the Venice, purely because we had just finished a picture on it as well, we knew that it was the perfect tool for that scene.
There's a funny thing that we experienced on the picture that we shot before. It was a scene in a kitchen, and I was of course too slow, so I took too long, so we were losing daylight. And we were shooting this on the Sony VENICE, you know? So he got fidgety next to me, and I was like, what's wrong? You know, and he just kept talking into his headset, and it looked completely fine to me. And we were in the monitor, and finally I got the last take. I walk into the kitchen.
We both walked in,
and it's pitch black. It's night outside. And I didn't realize on the monitor. So that really impressed me. And that also gave us the feeling that the Venice is for, you know, night battlefield, winter.
The space was so vast that you had to simply embrace what it was and its strengths and its weaknesses. So if you fire a flare up in the air, because it's in shot, it's going to have, just by nature, a certain amount of interactive lighting. We needed to capture that, and the Venice was the right tool for that job. I mean, it's, you know, if we had shot this film 10 years ago, it would have genuinely been a very different movie. It would have navigated the audience in just a different way.